And we are here at Michigan Sports Media Network. Welcome back to episode 3. As usual, we have Brad Thompson, our lead Tigers reporter, and James Gullett, our lead Red Wings reporter. Now let's pivot to the Detroit Pistons. They're coming off of a pretty rough loss a few days ago to the LA Clippers. Harden came into town and absolutely cooked us. He dropped 50 points. He did have quite a bit of free throws. He was getting to the line all night. Um, but he had 50 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds. Uh, eh, don't love giving that up as the Pistons, especially to a Clippers team that really hasn't been that great this year. And it was one of our first losses in a while. The last loss we took was to the Nuggets a week ago. But Cade absolutely balled out. He had 37 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds. Another just great showing by him. I will say, though, this was one of Jalen Duren's roughest games of the year. He just did not really do much on the floor outside of defense. And as we can see, didn't really do too much on that front either. He had 7 points and I believe less than 5 rebounds and less than 5 assists. Which just is not great coming from your starting center, and he played over 20 minutes in the game. So just not really what you're looking for. And obviously he's been great lately, so this is just a one-game situation. We're not really going to, we're going to take this with a grain of salt because we know that's really not who he is. But on a, more positive note, Dennis Shroder had his best game of the year for us so far. He dropped 21 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds. And he's really kind of coming into his own in this offense. I am a little worried once Jaden Ivey comes back, how that's going to mesh because it seems like Schroeder's kind of falling into that, second, not scoring option, but second, ball handler, second point guard type option. And that's kind of where Jaden Ivey's at as well. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how they can reintegrate Ivey. And as we mentioned on the last show, it'll probably be, more of a slow integration, just because he's coming off such a rough injury, and we're getting pretty close to the playoffs, so no real need to rush him there. But speaking of the playoffs, I just wanted to bring something up, okay? Now, I don't know if you remember the last time the Pistons made the playoffs. It was because of this guy, okay? Now, the reason I bring that up is because James, do you know the year that the Pistons made the playoffs last?
Not off the top of my head, but I do remember getting swept by the Bucks.
Yeah, it was 2015. So, or no, yeah, 2015, 2016, I believe. And with that being said, that's rough. It's been quite a while since the Pistons have made the playoffs. And it looks like not only will we make the playoffs this year, we're going to be a top 5 seed. If we can kind of keep winning and keep this thing rolling, it's looking pretty good on that front. And what that means is who we're going to play against in the playoffs definitely changes. Because, for the most part, a lot of Pistons fans were worried coming into this, like, we're going to be the 8th seed, and we're going to get swept by, the Celtics or the Cavs or whatever the case. Now, I think the Pistons have a legit chance to win a playoff series. Call me crazy, but let me look at the standings real quick. I feel like the Pistons could make some noise in the playoffs if they play the right team. As of right now, if the playoffs started today, we would be playing the Bucks. Not the greatest. I would honestly rather play the Pacers or even the Knicks first round. The Knicks I don't really want to see though because they have that 1-2 punch with Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. And I will say Karl Anthony Towns is having a great year. But that sure as hell beats playing the Celtics or the Cavs first round. The Bucks are a team I really don't want to see either. But the rest of the East I think we could win against in the first round. Going from 1 to 10, we have the Cavs, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Bucks, the Pacers, the Pistons at 6, and then the Heat and the Hawks to round out the top 8. And then in the play-in, we're looking at the Magic, the Bulls, the Nets, and the Sixers right now as the teams who are kind of vying for a shot. So if we can keep moving up that ranking, right now we're only 1 game back from the 4 seed. So if we can keep winning, we could jump into that 4 seed and see ourselves take on, maybe the Heat or something along those lines, which I would feel a lot more comfortable about. But with all that said, it feels amazing. Detroit basketball is back. Motor City is finally winning games again, and it looks like we're going to be making the not only does it look like we will make the playoffs this year, which is just insane to say as a Pistons fan. But with that being said, I'll pass it over to you, James, if you have anything to add.
The only thing I wanted to add, and I did have to look it up to be fair, but we did sneak into the playoffs in 2019. We have um, we got swept this
That was
year.
the Blake year.
Yeah, we made it in
Okay, yeah,
2019 and 2016.
okay.
I have it
That's
right
what
in
I
front
was
of me,
thinking.
otherwise I would not know.
Yeah, as I said it, I was thinking that to myself, like that seems a little, like when Blake was still with the Clippers. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I was gonna
that
say,
that
I'm
makes
like,
a
was
lot
it
more sense.
10 years ago? I'm like, I remember watching Blake at I was gonna say LCA, but it was before LCA. But one thing I would like to mention, just because I have it here in front of me, is with the last time the Pistons made the playoffs was 2019. I remember with the run we went on, we had a 95% chance to make the playoffs. And I know we lost our last game, but I cannot imagine it dropped that low. Um, so it's most likely still around the exact same. But it has been so 22, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it actually the Pistons have still made the playoffs more recently than the Red Wings. So at least we have some teams making the playoffs in the town. I mean, Lions made the playoffs, Tigers made the playoffs, Pistons are on the verge of making the playoffs. So um, not trying to be salty or anything, but it's odd that there's a legitimate chance that the Red Wings are going to be the only team in town not to make the playoffs this year. And for how many years were they the only ones that made the playoffs? Just strange times. But I'm happy for the Pistons.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I agree with that. It's kind of funny, at this point, I would almost say maybe it's like a sacrifice. Um, we had to kind of sacrifice the Red Wings' greatness to get some more wins in Detroit. But with that being said, I do believe that, the Red Wings have a real shot next season if they have a good off season, of course. If Yzerman makes some moves, to help that defense out. And obviously we need some more help on the offensive end as well. I know Patrick Kane was kind of a big addition last year, but I think we all can agree he's, definitely past his prime. And while he's still a good player, he is not what he used to be. And obviously it was a big addition for us regardless, but we need to more make a big move, that
yeah,
moves us forward for the next few years instead of, oh, here's an older guy who used to be really good and he's got a name factor, and I think that's really what it was for Kane was just, wow, we got Kane in a Red Wings jersey, man. This is nuts. We've been watching him kill us, for years and years. And it just really didn't, make a big difference on that.